Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas football, back here at the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention here at the Dave Campbell's booth. And we are here with the head coach of the Texarkana Texas High Tigers, Coach Gerry Stanford. Coach, I appreciate you stopping in and chatting with us.
Man, appreciate you having me. It's a great convention so far. A lot of people.
It is. It's crowded, and we're kind of, it feels. I was telling somebody I was at State 7-on-7 in College Station, and that was the first normal feeling football thing, and this is the first normal coaches clinic convention that I've been to since 2019. It's got to be great to be back here, and I mean, I know we missed this last year, and I mean, for you, what does coaching school mean for you?
I remember the first year I came was 1999. I was 21 years old, and I thought this was, man, like as a kid, like going to Disney World.
Oh yeah,
and
I still like that for me now.
Yeah,
man.
you just awesome. You put it on your schedule, and you know this is what you're going to look forward to year in and year out. This is the start of football season, so it's kind of like Christmas Eve. This kind of gets you ready, and so when this is over, you got coaches meetings starting, and players are back in a couple weeks, and it's here, and we're excited, and it really is. This is it's almost like the first coaching convention I've been to since we just missing last year, and with all the stuff we went through, it's kind of like starting over.
Yeah, for sure. And now I know I texted you earlier. I sent you a few places to eat in San Antonio. You gonna have you been to get anything good to eat yet?
No, man. I jumped off a plane at 9 o'clock this morning. Flew in from Texarkana. Hopped on a plane. Drove over here.
Can you fly from Texarkana to San Antonio?
Go to DFW and down. And
okay.
Did that and haven't eaten anything yet. But I'm sure a couple other coaches, Coach Dodge and I, and Coach Martinez, and I are going to go out and reconnect here in a little bit.
There you go.
So
well, hopefully I see you somewhere good.
Grab some lunch.
There you go. Well, looking ahead to 2021 in your ball club, I mean, expectations are always high in Texarkana. You guys, there's a lot of tradition there, and you guys have had a lot of good programs in the past. When you look at your ball club in 2021, what do you think needs to happen for you guys to be successful and have the kind of season that you think you can have?
I think the biggest thing, the most dominant teams in 5A and 6A are all developed by O-line and D-line play. I mean, that's really – you can have skill guys, and you got to have a quarterback, and we feel like we've really got one of the best quarterbacks in all of 5A. But you really got to have solid O-line and D-line. And I think for us to really, by the time we hit week 4, week 5, that O-line and D-line has got to be on point. And we feel defensively we are a lot faster than we were last year, giving up 12 points a game. Outside of the loss to Crosby, we felt like we played as good as anybody defensively all year. And offensively, we feel like our O-line's just got to come around. That's a younger group. We've got a lot of guys back, but as far as where we don't have as many, O-line's probably the weakest spot. And so that's an area of growth that we've really got to shore up by then.
I'm sure you're glad that you had it wasn't a 100% normal offseason and strength and conditioning program, but a lot more normal than last year for sure.
No doubt.
How big was that to get some of those young potential candidates on the offensive line in the weight room, get them stronger and getting them through your offseason program? How big is that going to be when you guys ramp up fall camp?
The best thing about offseason and spring is you find out the goods and the bads. You find out the good things you're going to be really good at and some things that you've got to continue, and that's what summer's been good for us. And so some of these young guys have really stepped up, and really in the last 3 weeks since we've been back after the break of July the 4th, it's been a really tremendous last couple of weeks. And so we're excited, man. We've got a great non-district schedule, opening up a scrimmage with Longview, which I think we'll find a lot of answers out in those Lobos show up.
You started out real soft there, right? King is running around trying to tell us how bad they're going to be this year.
No.
Are you giving us an early scouting report that Longview is going to be good?
They're going to be really good. Their young groups for the last couple of years have been as good as anybody's, and they've got probably their sophomore group and their freshman group to be together. I suspect they'll win a couple here in the next couple of years, if not this year as well. They've got a really, really good ball club with some really good quarterbacks. They've always got good O-line and D-line. I mean, Coach King's one of the best there is. And so it's a great scrimmage for us. It really opens our eyes as to where we are. It's been the last couple of years, it's been kind of a milestone for, hey, this is where we are. Good or bad, this is what we got. And then we go right into John Tyler, and here we go, and Coach Rickland Holmes.
But it's nice to be able to see that kind of competition early because you have time to make those adjustments and fix things. You get your warts exposed early, and I'm assuming you and your coaching staff really analyze that film in depth, and you can find out where you need to tweak some things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we want. We don't want to find out in week 7 or 8, hey, by the way, this is something we could have been better at. I mean, they're going to show us really fast in those first 2 weeks. And our district improved last year, just a really deep level, a lot of really good football. The way the playoffs went last year, our district did well, and so we expect the same kind of thing this year.
Your district is I think because you guys are in Region 3, and I'll ask you about that in a minute, because, typically East Texas, you're part of East Texas especially, typally aligns in Region 2. You guys are in Region 3, so I think you guys kind of get forgotten about, but I feel like your district, especially, there's some depth there with, obviously you guys, did a great job last year. Marshall's Marshall.
Yep.
Pine Tree had a great year last year, and I feel like Nacogdoches really came on. And Mount Pleasant's got a lot of young talent as well. They're going to be a solid team as well. And you got White House, who's always in the mix as well. You got to come bring your A game every night, or you're going to get on that bus if you're on an away game with a loss, right?
Yeah, there's no sleepy Friday nights. I mean, there's some long drives and some sleepy rides, but you can't be sleepy come 7 o'clock, 7:30. There's just enough talent that no matter who you play, you have the ability to get beat. Our region is kind of that way as well. I mean, it's just a good, solid region, top to bottom, with a lot of talent, a lot of athletes from all the way. I mean, it's funny, our region, our first round is going to be somewhere out of Houston. And so it's just a unique setup. And so obviously Houston, the fan base and the athlete base is really strong down there.
When you talk about your region as a whole, there's a lot of teams you guys, Texarkana fans probably aren't very familiar with.
No, not at all.
And so when you play those kind of teams, potentially if you're lucky enough to get in the playoffs, I mean, that's not guaranteed. You got to win those important games. But like last year, for example, when you look at your playoff bracket and you guys are playing in the first round of the playoffs, I think Montgomery and Lake Creek, and then you play Crosby in the second round.
We had no idea who they were.
How from a preparation, when talking to your kids, I mean, do you have to tell them, look, these guys can beat you, or do you feel like your kids had a good grasp on that these are good teams, even though we're not familiar with them, they are capable of beating us and giving us some trouble?
We didn't play real well our first. We came out of district playing extremely well. I really felt like at the end of district with White House there, we were playing our best football, but I don't know if it was the hype of the playoffs and kind of where we were positioned at that point in the state and kind of what we thought, and then not knowing Lake Creek at all. We didn't play real well early on in the game. The second half we played extremely well. But I think to what you were saying is, with unfamiliarity sometimes creates uncertainty in how a kid's going to play. If we're getting ready to play Marshall and Pine Tree, man, we ain't a whole lot got to be said that week.
Yeah.
Our kids are going to come ready to play. And so we've got to get that type of identity about us as we go into the playoffs. Because every round is going to be very unfamiliar for us. We're not going to see anybody, we played them last year or 2 years ago. Hey, remember, it's not going to be the case.
How do you go about, playoff scheduling? If obviously if you're in the playoffs, after the first round, you're lucky enough to host a first round game.
Yeah.
But you get to the second, third, fourth round potentially. You're playing teams from the Houston area. Finding neutral sites, and it's a good problem to have because it means you're still playing. But finding neutral sites can be a challenge. How do you kind of go about that process?
Coach Preto and I were working on it in the second round with Crosby, and it was because of where they are, basically southeast of Houston. SFA worked out. And SFA did a great job of hosting us. But our next options is we were either going to Dallas, and that was a long haul for both of us, or we were going to Waco, which is about the same distance for both of us. But there's nothing from a direct line outside of SFA that could hold the size of crowd that we were going to have, particularly with COVID situation last year. And you want to put your kids in a nice venue.
Yeah.
And SFA did a great job of hosting us. But like Lake Creek, they came to us in the first round, and they don't know where Texarkana is.
That's a long
haul.
Yeah.
A lot of those people are like, Texarkana, that's in Arkansas. Well, it is, but it's also in Texas.
Yeah.
But and so a lot of people come, even when we were in the Dallas district a couple years ago, to hear the comments from the fans of like, and we didn't even know this was out here. And in our stadium, it's a beautiful place to play.
It's a nice place.
You're fed well.
You do a good job in the press box. Your folks feed the media well.
So hopefully we're in that first or second place spot, and obviously that's the goal. And we are hosting a first round, and so it just makes it easier on us.
Final question for you, Coach. You guys play in one of the more unique rivalries in the state of Texas, the annual game against Arkansas High, right there across town, but across the state line as well. What makes that rivalry so unique and special?
Man, it's just the history of it all. I mean, it goes so far back, and it's still small town America in Texarkana in a lot of ways, and so a lot of these people have never left. And so you're playing cross lines, and I tell you this, it's unique. Coach Sarkeesian and I, we're talking about this the other day, Texas and Arkansas played right around there at the same time. And so there's just a lot of uniqueness to the history of that rivalry that goes way, way back in that city. Long ways back. And so it's funny to hear the parents talk about it because a lot of the parents played against each other.
Yeah.
Those
married
couples,
Texas
absolutely.
and Arkansas High, folks that are married.
The amount of
split
attention.
households.
I've been in a lot of rivalries. White Oak, Spring Hill, Marcus, Flower Mound, Marcus, Louisville. But the amount of attention that this town shuts down throughout the game. Coach Norton and I speak at least one engagement a day, if not two different engagements a day. Everybody really gears up for this game, and it really is a unique atmosphere.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Congrats on all the success. And good
you
luck.
too. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On
Appreciate
all your
it.
stuff. That's awesome.
And good luck in 2021.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.